What's going on? Welcome back to Volume 2 of Kicking It on the Couch, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, this series is pretty much just going to be like cheesy, fun movies that I like to review on the couch. And obviously, as you can see, anything can happen when you're kicking it on the couch. So here's my cat. And you never know what's going to happen. And on today's edition of this show, I'm going to be talking about 1989's Intruder. I mean, I've done the watch party on it, but I figured I had to give it its own review. So, without further ado, let's slash these prices. Let's get into it. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to this fantastic channel. I appreciate all the love you guys have given me. It's been a fantastic journey so far. And on today's episode, Volume 2 of Kicking It on the Couch, we're doing 1989's Intruder, starring Elizabeth Cox, Sam Raimi, and Bruce Campbell. This was directed by Scott Spiegel. The premise of this movie takes place in a grocery store, which I love because I've worked in a grocery store probably for about 10 years of my life. So it had a lot of nostalgia for me because everything that was going on, well, not the killings obviously, but everything inside the store I definitely been through before. So, and I love the grocery store atmosphere. It was one of my favorite jobs, so I definitely knew I was going to love this movie. The killer in this movie, obviously nothing special. Just a normal, regular guy, but it actually works because the reason behind him doing it is kind of, I mean, you never want to see anybody get killed or anything, but I mean, I guess I get where he's coming from. He doesn't want to lose this store. He doesn't want to lose this job. This has been a part of his life. I believe he worked there for like 10 years, I think. He just loves this store. This store's his life, and he doesn't want it to go away. The other owner, he sold it, obviously, with, you know, Bill was the co-owner. Didn't consult with him at all, and just decided, hey, we're going to sell it to the city. Hey, we're going to close the store. And I think it was like a month or something. They had to reduce inventory and shit, and sell everything, and then it was shutting down. So that freaking Bill snapped right there. When the movie starts, you don't know who the killer is. You're assuming it is a guy named Craig, like some leather jacket, greasy son of a bitch. Looks like a womanizer. I think he was in prison. So you're like, oh shit. Pointing right to this guy. I'm looking at you, Craig. Looking at you. And keep trying to force Craig down your throat. Like he's gonna be the killer because he's doing all this bad shit and getting in fights and sneaking back into the store and standing creepily outside and stalking people from the aisles. So you think it's gonna be him. You would be mistaken, my friends. You would be mistaken. Obviously, this is a spoiler-filled review. This movie is over 30 years old, so if you haven't seen it, you probably aren't gonna see it, or you just haven't heard about it, which is what happened to me. I had no idea what this movie was until about a couple months ago, and I watched it for the first time on Tubi, fell in love with it, had to get the Blu-ray. The Blu-ray looks fantastic. I had a watch party the other night with Filthy Dan and a crew member. It was fantastic. It's such a fun film. The kills in this movie are unbelievable for being such a cheesy, cheap film. Some of the best kills I've ever seen. Not even gonna lie. Obviously, being that this is Kicking It on the Couch, I got notes, and I'm not hiding them like my normal reviews because this is just a laid back kind of atmosphere, and I need them. And oh, by the way, the other owner's name was Dan, so it was Dan and Bill. You cannot not have a good time with this film. It has to be impossible. the first opening kill that we're gonna get is the owner Dan. You know those like little notepad things that you slam notes down on, but it was like extremely tall, like way taller than you think it would need to be. So the killer comes in and looks so good, pushes Dan's head right on it through the eyeball, and you see it go right in. The blood is dripping all over the place. It's dripping on the light bulb that got knocked over and shining, making the light all red in the room. They don't show the killer's face or anything, so you still don't know who it is. You really don't know who the killer is in this movie until probably about an hour in. But the bad thing is, if you watch the trailer, it gives away who the killer is pretty much instantly in the trailer. So if you don't want to be spoiled, but you already are, obviously, because you watched this review, don't watch the trailer. We watched the trailer before we did the watch party, and that kind of ruined it because it showed who the killer was for the people that were watching it for the first time, and I felt kind of bad because I didn't realize that. But it's an 80s cheesy slasher, so I mean, that still doesn't take the fun to be had out of it by any means at all. Another cool kill in this film is the produce guy. He's back there chopping up watermelon, and he keeps bringing the knife back, and if you look on the knife conveniently, there's no water, there's no watermelon residue of any sort on that blade. It is dry. He's listening to headphones, and the killer brings a big-ass butcher knife, like this big, right down the middle of his head. Yes, the kill's not that cool, but the consistency is. The fact that they make the headphones split in half and fall to the ground. Some movies probably wouldn't even take the time to do that. You just whack them in the back of the head and magically the headphones don't go nowhere. But this one kept the consistency with that, and I did appreciate that for being such a low-budget 80s film. Another goofy kill in this film is the one guy gets stabbed with a butcher knife, like by cases of beer, but like the beer starts spraying out even before he's stabbed. And another thing, the knife is not nearly long enough to go through the body and come out the back and hit all the beer cans to make them spray blood everywhere in beer. Plus, the knife wasn't even in his body that much, so it really made no sense. But you look past it, guys. We gotta look past it because it is all fun. Cannot take this too seriously at all. Pretty much just talking about the kills in this film, to be honest with you guys. Another great kill. Somehow the killer is very, very strong to lift up a full-grown man with like one hand and place his neck on a meat hook that comes up through here, and blood's coming out and he's just swinging, hanging from it. That's some Texas Chainsaw shit. Another great kill. But the best kill, okay, that might be a tie, but definitely tied for top kill in this film. The meat saw kill, when he takes that guy's head, turns on the meat saw, and just cuts right through here. You see his teeth getting all chopped up, his face, cuts it right off. The blood, the body parts, like the tissue, and oh my god, it looks so good. The effects in this film, for being back in the day and being a lesser known slasher film that didn't go to theaters, the effects were freaking top notch, literally. Like you don't expect that from this kind of film to be that good, but they were fantastic. And a lot of the cheesy signs, another thing, there's a lot of cheesy like signs, like whenever the guy was chopping the watermelon, it was like something, be careful around sharp knives or something like that. And then when the one guy body was cut in half, it said half off, because half his body was over here and the other half was over here. There was like a sign by it. So that was super funny. This movie was just a whole ton of fun. You cannot have a bad time with this movie. There's no freaking way. And then there was another guy got killed in like a baler. And it was like said something about crush-proof boxes or something. That was hilarious too. The baler kill was probably tied for the top kill when he sticks the dude's head in the baler, turns it on, slowly comes down, crushes like from here, smushes his head, blows up, blood everywhere. There's not a lack of kills in this film, that's for sure, which is probably why I love it. And the gore is fantastic. Another reason why I love it. This is a movie that was like made for me. In a grocery store, gory kills, amazing kills. It's like they made this movie just for me. Only if I was born in '89, it would have been the movie of my birth. But I was born in '88, so I had to pick something else. So, what are you gonna do? It came out a year too late. Jennifer, she was Craig's old girlfriend, I guess, but he came back for her because he loved her and wanted to be together. She thinks Craig is the killer, so she stabs him. He falls into like a shopping cart, and you think, oh, good, it's gonna be over. But not really, because you're like, there's no way he's the killer. So you think he's dead and out of the way. So he's not the killer anymore, obviously. Bill shows back up. He was like, oh, they're all dead. He's talking about they're all dead and shit. He's like, I'm gonna call the police and whatnot. While he's talking to the police, she notices that he has blood on his hand, and then he just looks down and sees it. And he knows that she knows. So then it's just pretty much just him chasing her around the grocery store. He's running on top of the belts where the checkout is, trying to get to her. And then he gives the explanation of why he was doing what he was doing. I had to kill them all. I just love this store. He's like, there's gonna be one more killing tonight. Because he has to kill her so that he's the only one left. Which I don't know how that plan was gonna work, because obviously, who else would have killed them all? Because he was trying to pin it on Craig, obviously. But lucky for Jennifer, Craig wasn't dead yet. The awesome thing in this movie is when he's chasing Jennifer and trying to kill her, and stuff's like fell off the shelves, or he knocked something off the shelf. He had to actually put it back up and stock it and block it back up as he was going. He couldn't just leave it on the floor. And I kind of get where he's coming from, because when I worked at the grocery store, hated the aisles to be freaking, you know, this package is falling over, this one's over here. No, I like it to be perfectly blocked up, looking pristine for the customers to come in there and find what they're looking for. It might have been a little anal of me to do that. No pun intended, and I do not like the anal Jason Smith. Come on now. But, yeah, it had to be perfect. Luckily, Jennifer fights back. I guess she's the final girl of the film. Jennifer and Craig. Well, Craig's not a girl. You know what I mean. Jennifer's the final girl. She's the last girl left. She's trying to fight for her life. It's good shit. She's still running outside. She goes in like a phone booth, and Bill busts through the phone booth, still trying to get her. Then here comes Craig, whacking him with a meat cleaver in the freaking phone booth. Blood going everywhere. You think he's dead. The cops show up, and guess what? They arrest Jennifer and Craig for the murders in the store. The other cop goes inside, sees all the bodies. They're the only two left. Obviously, Craig has a rap sheet. He was in prison, so they're going to assume that he did it. They arrest both of them. And that's the only time we get to see Bruce Campbell. Yeah. Bruce Campbell's on the damn name of the movie. If this went to theaters, his name would be in the lights. He's in the movie for 2 minutes, maybe. Maybe. Just an arresting officer at the end of the film. Speaking of that, there's other two cops in the beginning of the film. The typical cops in movies that are fucking stupid. The guy's like 80 years old. I don't even know why he's still a cop. It makes no damn sense, but he's still there. I just had to bring those two cops up. There always got to be those two cops in movies that are like so damn terrible and old that should not be in movies, but they're in there anyway just to be funny. Just for the sake of being in there to be funny. Bruce Campbell, yeah, they arrest him, and then Bill's like, they did it, and he's like, somehow Bill's not dead from getting whacked with a cleaver. He's still bleeding out in the freaking phone booth. He's like, they did it, they killed them all. Not the ending you were expecting. Obviously, I would believe that they would get off. They would get off from the killings. They would eventually find out that Bill was the one who did it, if he survives. Otherwise, they're probably going to go to jail. for a bunch of grisly murders in a grocery store. And I fell in love with this movie first watch, and I cannot get enough of Intruder. I can't believe I haven't. You're probably not gonna like this rating I'm gonna give it, but I'm gonna give it, in my opinion, 3.75 out of 5. I love it that much. I really do. But that does not mean that it's as good as, The Thing, which I gave a high score, or Halloween. It's just, personally for me, with the nostalgia of the grocery store, the kills, the gore, the kind of movies that I like, I had to give it a 3.75 out of 5. This is one of those cheesy 80s films, but it really was trying to take itself seriously. It wasn't going just for the straight cheesy and gory. It was actually a story with a killer who was doing it for a reason, and everything about it was trying to be serious, except for little jokes here and there with like the signage and whatnot. But I loved it. If you haven't seen it, please give it a watch, and if you have seen it, let me know your thoughts right below this beautiful face in the comments below, because I'm looking forward to hearing what you have to say. Definitely check it out. Thanks for checking out all my videos, all my content. I definitely have noticed a rising in subscribers lately. It's fantastic. I appreciate every sub I get. I interact with as many as you guys as I possibly can. I don't want to be that guy that ignores this guy but talks only to this guy. I want to talk to all you guys. I love all you guys. I appreciate everything you guys do. So keep coming back. Keep chilling with me. This is a very successful episode, volume number 2 of Kicking It on the Couch. And I'm going to keep this little segment going. And another segment I'm thinking about doing, watching movie trailers with my kids, the old one versus the new, kind of like what Robbie Sobel did with his son. I think I'm going to do that with my kids. I want to know if you guys thought that was a good idea. Some people recommended that to me. So let me know down below about that as well. And I got to go slash some prices because I just love this channel. Have a scary day.